So, Dr. Law, how did you choose to become a cosmetic surgeon?
You know, a lot of people do ask me that question because it's such a popular field now. But as a surgeon, someone who starts off as being a surgeon, it's kind of an unusual field to eventually end up. You know, someone who trains to operate and so forth to transition to just doing Botox treatments and laser peels. And so it does. A lot of people do ask that question, and I think it really does start with childhood. I grew up, and my dad was a surgeon, my mom was a pathologist, so I grew up in a household of physicians, and I've always wanted to be a physician. I've always wanted to be a surgeon, actually. I actually wanted to be, when I first started medical school, I actually thought of more of being like a cardiac surgeon or a trauma surgeon. You know, I had these delusions of glory that I'd rush into the emergency room with a gunshot wound and I'd save the patient's life, or I'd be operating on someone with terrible heart disease and they'd code on the table and I could resuscitate them and save their lives and so forth. After going through that in medical school, I realized that essentially those guys and women worked all the time. They had a high divorce rate, they were extremely unhappy, and I was looking for something that was a little bit more of a happy field or a satisfactory field to go into. So I looked into other things such as ear, nose, and throat or head and neck surgery, which is what I decided to go into. When I finally got into that residency, it seemed like plastic surgery, which was 20% of our training, in a way it took surgery to the next level. It actually took the ability to operate, the ability to use your hands, and it elevated it almost to an art form. And that really interested me. It really provided a unique challenge of operating and creating art or beauty with your hands. And that's how I got into it. Once I started the whole process of entering into the cosmetic aspect of surgery, I wanted to create an environment or a practice that treated everything. I wanted to be able to provide the patient with every type of procedure or treatment that can help you look your best. And to that end, we started the Rocky Mountain Laser Aesthetic Clinic, which offers everything from laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, to skin rejuvenation, to laser vein removal. And we even work with sunspots and A-spots and fine wrinkling, all the way up to the surgical aspects, facelifts, nose jobs, eyelid surgeries. And then all that middle stuff that's become quite popular, such as Botox and Restylane and filler and other fillers and Dysport. That all started to come into play about, well, Botox really changed the industry in 2002 when they got FDA approval. And that's when the whole cosmetic industry took off. What makes us different from other medical spas or cosmetic places is that I got into this industry well before it was popular, and it was something more of a passion for me, whereas a lot of people are now getting into it, just, quite frankly, because it can be a more profitable type of practice than maybe what they've gone into in the first place. So I feel like that ours is driven on and based on the passion and for a true interest in this field versus any other monetary factors. Yeah, so we are the only cosmetic practice in Colorado doing the quick lift procedure. And again, it's an evolution of the traditional facelift procedure. The traditional facelift, believe it or not, was actually done, if you go back in history, about 100 years ago. The original description of the traditional facelift is about 100 years old. And we have found that through newer techniques and a better understanding of the aging face, that we can make modifications to that procedure that will lead to, one, a quicker procedure, so it's called the quick lift. It takes about 3 hours to perform. And then when we supplement it with things such as fillers and Botox and peels, we're finding that the results from a quick lift procedure with supplementation is better and more natural looking than anything that's been done in the past, including the more recent deep plane facelift or the composite facelift procedures that were described 10, 15 years ago. So it's got every advantage. It's a faster procedure, and it actually leads to a much better, more natural result than the older procedures.
And what's the downtime like on something like that?
You know, downtime is interesting. I always throw that back at the patient, and I say, well, what do you mean by downtime? Because some people say downtime is, when will I feel good enough to go back to work? Most people will feel pretty good after 3 or 4 days, and we've had people going back to work after 3 or 4 days, as long as you don't mind having sutures in place and and if you have a little bit of bruising. Some people say, well, downtime to me means I don't want anybody to know I had anything done. Well, if that's the case, then you really probably want to wait 2 to 3 weeks before showing your face out in public, because that's when most of the swelling is down and all the bruising is gone. I'm not saying that there's a lot of bruising, but there can be a little bit of bruising that can draw some attention to other people. So
So I hear you're doing something new called the Youthful Skin Club.
yes, we started another business called the Youthful Skin Club. What is the Youthful Skin Club? Well, one of the things that we always emphasize in our practice, in order to look your best and to keep looking your best, you need to maintain treatments. So when you do a treatment, it's not that, how do I want to say this? A lot of people, when they ask for treatments, they say, well, is it permanent? And my answer is, well, yes, the changes are permanent, but you continue to age. So if you want to continue to look your best, you have to continue to do follow-up treatments on a regular basis, every month or so. And now we're not saying that you need to get a facelift every month, or that you need to do Botox every month. Botox lasts about 3 months. Or even that you need to do filler. Filler can last up to 2 years. But the smaller procedures, the light chemical peels, the microdermabrasions, or the combination of those with the skincare products should be done on a regular basis, like month to month. And so we thought, wow, to really emphasize that, why don't we start a club where we can offer these services, like a light chemical peel or a microdermabrasion, at an extremely discounted price, which will entice the patient to come back on a regular basis. So what it is the main treatment we offer is a microdermabrasion, which is typically about $100 to $120 a treatment. And what it does is it really just exfoliates the skin, and it stimulates new skin to grow. And studies have shown that if you do this frequently, it really can reduce wrinkles, sunspots, and age spots. The problem is people tend to get these done, maybe 3 or 4 treatments, and then they stop. And they realize 6 months later that the wrinkling has returned, the sunspots have returned, and then they come back saying that they're very unhappy that they tried this treatment and it didn't work. Well, it really did work, but they just didn't maintain. The analogy I like to use is, let's say you exercise and you do this extreme workout for a month, and by the time you finish working out, you look fantastic. Well, you're not going to look fantastic forever if you stop working out. You have to keep working out if you want to keep looking good, and the same thing is true for your skin. Yeah, so the Youthful Skin Club is $49 a month for a microdermabrasion, and the normal price is $120. There's a combination treatment of a microdermabrasion with a chemical peel, which we call a microderma peel, which is, I believe, $65. The caveat is that you have to become a member, meaning that you have to to get these discounts, you have to promise to come back once a month. And if you are a member, though, membership has its benefits. So we offer discounts on all of our other services, all of our other laser services, and the Botox, Dysport, and fillers as well.
Okay, you have a private label skincare line. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So we do have a private label skincare line. I still believe in, so we do have a private skincare line. I still believe that other products are very good, and we sell other products as well. The advantage of our skincare products is that it contains the essential ingredients that I think are necessary. Not to say that the other ones don't, but ours just does, and we make it fresh to order. So if someone decides they want to buy it, we make it fresh right then and there. So the active ingredients, which include a retin-A and a hydroquinone, are much more potent because they're fresh, and the potency tends to last longer. And quite frankly, they're cheaper than the other products. Because we have eliminated the middleman, we can actually offer the same quality products or better at a more affordable price. We've also done extensive testing with patients. Not that we experimented on them, but we actually asked for their feedback in terms of how they liked it. Was it well tolerated? Was it irritating? Did you see a nice result? Did you see a nice result early on? And from that feedback, we've altered the formulation to provide what we find is the most tolerated, the smoothest, the most gentle formulations that are still quite effective, and like I said earlier, they're made fresh. The lasers are their instruments to perform the best treatments, and much of that comes from their experience and knowing what's the best treatment for a patient, being able to look at their skin, being able to look at their tattoo, being able to look at their skin type, their sunspots, their wrinkles. And given that we have so many services here, our technicians, our estheticians, and myself can offer what we feel is the best treatment from all these choices because we have all of these choices to choose from. There's a popular saying that if you only have a hammer, then the whole world is a nail. And oftentimes you go into a spa and they'll only offer the same treatment to you and someone else with a different skin type, maybe with a different skincare problem, mostly because that's the only laser they have, or maybe that's the only treatment that they feel comfortable with. Again, we have many different lasers here. Last count, I think we had 6 or 7 different types of lasers, and our technicians have all been working for several years and regularly undergo training and educational sessions with me and with other representatives to keep on top of their skills as well.
Okay, follow-up. Anything bonus that you want to add?
I don't know. Is there anything I could?
Why do people keep coming back? I mean, your reviews on Google are phenomenal through the roof. So what is it? I mean, why here? Why not?
I think one of the reasons why people like us the most, or why do we have so many great reviews? Why do we have such a busy practice? We've been able to maintain quite a busy practice even through the recession. And I think it really comes down to service. We hire the right people. We get the right people on the bus, as the saying goes, who are very friendly, who are very knowledgeable. And I think that builds patient loyalty.
That's great.
So.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks.